Right now, there is a lawn tractor sitting on a dealer lot with a clearance tag zip tied to the steering wheel. The number on that tag is not the lie. The price is real. What is a lie is the story you have been told about why that tag is there in the first place. You have heard the story. New model year lands in September. The dealer is bleeding interest on last year's units. And if you walk in at the right week with the right question, he folds. Some of that is true. Most of it stopped being true about 2 years ago. So before you walk into anything, here is the number that actually matters. On a $3,000 lawn tractor, the dealer's entire gross profit is somewhere around $450. $450. Hold on to that number, because it explains why the $800 you are planning to talk off the sticker does not exist. It has never existed, and it explains exactly where the money you can actually get is hiding instead, which is not in the column you are staring at. 3 things in this video. First, what actually happens to a mower between the factory and that clearance tag, and why the floor plan story that gets repeated on every tractor forum in the country falls apart against something the Toro company's own chief financial officer said out loud on an earnings call. That is the receipt. It changes how you talk to a salesman. Second, the real calendar, not a lucky week. 2 documented dates that set the discount window every year. Plus what Toro and Deere told their own shareholders about how much inventory is really sitting out there right now. It is not what most of the internet is telling you. And third, held to the end. There is a metal tag under your seat with a number stamped into it. 10 seconds to read. That number tells you the true class of the machine you are about to buy. No matter what the badge says and no matter what the sticker says, if you take one thing out of this video, it is that. Before any of that, everything I am about to do to this one purchase, I have already done for every machine in your garage. 7 guides. The Riding Mower Decision guide ranks every model by transmission, engine, and deck. So you are not squinting at a tag in a parking lot hoping you got it right. The warranty and dealer playbook is what voids your coverage and how to force a claim through when they stall you. One wrong mower costs you $3,000 and 4 seasons of Saturdays. The whole vault is $47. PrimeRundown.com. QR code is on screen, link is pinned, and I will not bring it up again for the rest of this video. PrimeRundown.com. Let's get into it. Start with a thing most buyers have never thought about, which is that the dealer usually does not own the mower you are looking at. When a lawn tractor ships from the factory to a dealership, the dealer very often does not write a check for it. A finance company does. The mower gets paid for by an inventory lender, and the dealer holds it on his floor on borrowed money until somebody buys it. That arrangement is called floor plan, and it is the reason a small-town dealership can have 40 machines on the lot without 40 machines worth of cash in the bank. Now, borrowed money costs money, but not right away. Floor plan comes with what the industry calls a free floor period. For most outdoor power equipment, that runs 90 to 180 days, and on some programs longer. During that window, the unit sits there, and nobody is charged interest on it. John Deere Capital Corporation spells this out in its own annual report, the 10K for the fiscal year that ended November 2nd, 2025. Interest-free periods on most equipment run from 1 month up to 12 months, and the filing is blunt about 2 other things. Those interest-free periods cannot be extended, and the dealer is on the hook for payment whether or not the machine ever sells to a retail customer. So the clock is real. After the free floor runs out, interest starts, and the dealer starts paying rent on a machine that is not moving. That is the pressure everybody on the forums is talking about. Here is the part they get wrong. In June of 2024, on the Toro company's second quarter earnings call, Chief Financial Officer Angela Drake was asked about exactly this, about who carries the cost of floor plan on Toro equipment sitting at dealers. Her answer, reported at the time by Equipment Finance News, was that the large majority of those floor plan interest payments to Red Iron and to Toro's other inventory financing partners are funded by the Toro company itself, as the manufacturer. Read that twice. The manufacturer is paying it, not the dealer, and it is not a stray comment on a call. Toro's own annual report, the 10K filed December 17th, 2025, describes it the same way. Finance charges on that inventory are either incurred by Toro or shared with the distributor and dealer, or paid by the dealer. 3 possibilities, and the company's own chief financial officer told investors which one is the large majority. Sit with what that means for the conversation you were planning to have. There is a very popular piece of negotiation advice going around that says you should walk up to a mower and ask the salesman what his floor plan cost is on that unit. The theory is that you show him you know his pain, he respects you for it, and the price comes down. That question assumes he is in pain. On a current model year machine inside its free floor window, financed under a program where the manufacturer is covering the interest, he is not in pain. He is not paying anything. You have just told him you read a forum post. That is the whole receipt, and it reframes the rest of this entirely. Because if the pressure is not where you were told it is, then the discount is not where you were told it is either. So where is the pressure? It is on the calendar, and there are 2 dates that matter. The first is model year changeover. New residential mower lineups land at dealers between roughly mid-September and early November. That part of the folk wisdom is correct. When the new units arrive, the old ones move to a different tier of pricing, because now they are last year's machines sitting next to this year's, and everybody in the showroom can see it. The second date is fiscal year end, and this is the one almost nobody talks about. Toro's fiscal year ends October 31st. Deere's fiscal year for 2025 ended November 2nd. Those are not arbitrary. Those are the dates the manufacturer closes its books, which means those are the dates a dealer's inventory position gets looked at hardest by the people whose opinion he actually cares about. Line those 2 dates up and you get a window, roughly the last 2 weeks of September through the end of October. Now, the other half of the story, and this is where I have to be straight with you, because it cuts against the title of this video. Dealers in 2026 are not desperate. Toro's fiscal 2025 results, reported December 17th, 2025, show residential segment sales of $858.4 million. That is down 14% from the year before. Residential earnings margin dropped to 4.2% from 7.9%. In the third quarter alone, residential sales fell almost 28%. That sounds like a glut. It is not. Read what management actually said, which is that they were making continued progress toward normalizing field inventories. Translated out of investor language, Toro was deliberately shipping less product into the channel to pull inventory down. That is not a company drowning in unsold mowers. That is a company that already drained the pool. Deere told the same story. In its third quarter fiscal 2025 results, small agriculture and turf was down about 1%. On the earnings call, Josh Beal, Deere's Director of Investor Relations, said they ran roughly 10% under production for the year in that segment, and that inventories had come down. The 2 biggest names in the category spent 2 years cutting shipments on purpose. Then add tariffs. Section 232 steel and aluminum duties went to 50% in 2025, with hundreds of additional tariff lines added that August. Steel and aluminum are what a mower deck and frame are made out of. Manufacturers in this space issued documented price increases and surcharges through the season. So, the market you are walking into is not overstocked and cheap. It is lean and expensive. There is less discretionary room in the price than there was in 2022 or 2023, and any video telling you otherwise is running on 3-year-old information. Somebody in the comments is going to tell me his dealer knocked $1,200 off a Z-Track last October. I believe him. That happens. It happens on carryover units, on prior model year stock, on demos with hours on the meter, and on discontinued models that got superseded. It does not happen on current model year inventory inside the free floor window. That distinction is the entire ballgame, and if you walk in without it, you will ask for a carryover discount on a machine that is not carryover, and the conversation ends there. Which brings me back to $450. Whole goods margin in this industry is thin, and it is documented. Bob Clements International, writing in Green Industry Pros, describes dealers holding margins in the high teens to the mid-20s on consumer product and low to mid-teens on the commercial side. His working number for whole goods is 15%, against 50% on parts. And on Tractor by Net, a dealer put the target on a riding mower at 15% or more. So call it 15 to 20%. On a $3,000 lawn tractor, The gross is $450 to $600 before he pays the tech who assembled it, the floor it sat on, and the delivery truck that brings it to you. Now picture the conversation. Saturday before Labor Day. You walk in with your number in your head and ask for $800 off. He runs the arithmetic you just ran, silently, and works out that you are asking him to sell at a loss and then service it free for 2 years. He says he can do $150. You think he is being cheap. He is not being cheap. He is being solvent. If you have ever had that exact standoff at a dealership and walked out annoyed, tell me in the comments what machine it was over. I read those. Let me be fair to the dealers for a second, because I do not think anybody in this chain is running a con. Floor plan pressure is real. The free floor window expires. A machine that has sat there 14 months does cost him money every month, and he does want it gone. When he tells you he is paying to keep it on that floor, he is usually telling the truth. He is just telling you that about the wrong machine, because the one he wants gone is the dusty one in the corner, and the one you are pointing at is the new one by the door. And the pressure is softer this year than it was. The prime rate right now is 6.75%. It has been there since the Federal Reserve's cut in December of 2025. 2 years ago, it was 8.5%. Floor plan rates index to those benchmarks, so carrying an unsold mower is measurably cheaper for a dealer in 2026 than it was in 2023. Lower rates mean less panic. That is just how the math works. Nobody engineered a squeeze. The squeeze eased, and the advice on the internet did not update. So here is how you actually get paid. Stop negotiating the sticker. There's $450 behind it, and you are not getting most of that. Move your entire ask into the columns where the dealer's cost is not cash. Ask for assembly and setup thrown in. Ask for the first service included. Oil, filter, blade sharpening, the works. Ask for free delivery and free pickup for that service. Ask for the bagger or the mulch kit at his cost instead of retail, because his margin on parts and accessories is roughly triple his margin on the machine. Ask what the financing terms are, then ask what they are if you pay cash, because those are two different deals and only one of them costs him a rebate. That bundle can be worth $600 or $700 to you and cost him $200. He will say yes to it when he will not say yes to $400 off the price. Caveat on this one: get every piece of it written on the sales order before you sign, because a handshake on a free first service has a way of evaporating around March. Target the right unit. Carryover stock, prior model year, superseded models, demos, on the Deere side. The E100 series was superseded by the S100 series back in model year 2021. And leftovers of a superseded line are exactly what a dealer is tired of looking at. Caveat: superseded does not mean bad. It often means the same machine with a different decal, so check what actually changed before you assume you got away with something. Time it into that window. Last 2 weeks of September through October against changeover and fiscal year end. I am not going to give you a magic week, because there is not one. And anybody who names you a specific week is making it up. At the big boxes, it works differently. Home Depot resets its outdoor power equipment sections over to fall and winter product by late August, and mower markdowns run in stages after that, deepest 2 to 4 weeks after Labor Day. On their price tags, and ending in .03, is the final markdown. Nothing more is coming on that unit. Caveat: a box store will not set it up properly and will not service it, and John Deere's own warranty documentation says plainly that Lowe's and Home Depot are authorized retailers but not authorized servicing dealers. Same machine, different aftermath. And before you sign, run the model through the CPSC recall database. Takes a minute. In January of 2025, roughly 39,000 John Deere Z-Track zero turns with Kawasaki engines were recalled over a voltage regulator fire hazard. Machines that sold between $8,000 and $11,500. In November of 2025, about 650 Spartan SRT XD and KGZ XD units from model year 2025 were recalled for a steering damper problem after reports of the mower bouncing unexpectedly. Discounted inventory and recalled inventory sometimes overlap. Now the tag. Get down on one knee at the back of the machine, look under the seat and above the rear axle, and find the transaxle. It is the cast housing the rear wheels bolt into. There is a plate or a stamp on it with a model number. If that number reads K46 or TLT200, you are looking at an entry-level lawn tractor. Full stop. Does not matter what the hood says or what the tag on the steering wheel says. Tough Torque, the company that actually builds those units, describes the K46 on its own product page as its most popular integrated hydrostatic transaxle, built small, purpose-focused, and affordable. And in Tough Torque's own tech guidance, the K46 normally requires no servicing for the life of the vehicle. There is no drain plug. It was not built to be opened. If the number reads K57 or K58, you have a step up, with a charge pump doing real work. If it reads K66 or K72, now you have a genuine garden tractor drivetrain, built by Tough Torque's own description for heavier duty and more demanding use. 10 seconds. One number. And it tells you more about what that machine does on your hill in year 6 than the price. The horsepower sticker, the deck width, and the badge combined. That is the number to walk in knowing, not the discount. The discount is somebody else's number and it is smaller than you were promised. That one is yours. Desperate to unload. That was the frame going in, and it is the wrong one. The dealer is not desperate, and he was never your problem. Your problem is that you were about to spend $3,000 arguing over $450 of it, while the thing that decides whether you are still happy in year 6 sat stamped on a piece of metal under the seat, and nobody in that building was ever going to point at it. YouTube thinks you will like one of these 2 videos, so go ahead and click one. And if you made it all the way to the end here, subscribe primerundown.com if you want the whole map.